This happens every single day. And the worst part is, most first-time buyers don't even know there's a difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval. They think it's the same thing. It's not. And confusing the two could cost you the home you want. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what each one means, what's actually happening behind the scenes when you get each one, which one you actually need, and when to get each one so you don't waste time or hurt your credit score. If you're buying your first home, this is one of the most important things to understand before you even start looking at houses. Let's get into it. So let's start with pre-qualification, because this is usually the first step. Pre-qualification is basically a quick financial snapshot. You call a lender or go online, and you tell them some basic information about yourself. Your estimated income, your approximate debts, how much you think you have saved for a down payment. Maybe they ask about your employment situation. And here's the key part. In most cases, you're self-reporting all of this. The lender isn't verifying anything. They're not pulling your tax returns. They're not calling your employer. They're not checking your bank statements. You're just telling them the numbers, and they're doing some quick math based on what you said. After that, the lender gives you an estimate. Something like, based on what you told us, you could probably qualify for a loan up to $300,000. That's your pre-qualification. The whole process usually takes less than an hour. Sometimes it takes less than 10 minutes online. And in many cases, it doesn't even require a hard credit pull, which means it won't affect your credit score. So what's the point of pre-qualification if it's that informal? It's useful for one thing: getting a ballpark. If you're in the very early stages of thinking about buying a home and you just want to know roughly what price range you should be looking at, pre-qualification gives you a starting point. Nothing more. Think of it like this. Pre-qualification is like a doctor asking you how you feel. Pre-approval is the doctor actually running the tests. Now let's talk about pre-approval, because this is where it gets serious. Pre-approval is a much deeper dive into your finances. Instead of just telling the lender your numbers, you're proving them. With documents, you're going to submit your W-2s, your pay stubs, your tax returns, your bank statements. The lender is going to pull your credit report, which is a hard inquiry. They're going to verify your employment. They're going to look at your debts, your assets, your full financial picture. And then they run all of that through their underwriting standards. Conventional guidelines, FHA guidelines, VA guidelines. Whatever loan type fits your situation. They're checking your debt-to-income ratio, your credit score, your down payment funds, and your employment history against real lending criteria. When that's done, if you qualify, the lender issues you a pre-approval letter. This letter says something very specific. It says we have reviewed this buyer's financials, and we are willing to lend them up to a certain amount, at an estimated interest rate, subject to finding a property and completing the final underwriting process. That letter is gold. And here's why. When a seller gets multiple offers on their home, and in a lot of markets they do, they want to know that the buyer can actually close the deal. A pre-qualification letter says this person might be able to get a loan. A pre-approval letter says this person has been vetted by a lender and is ready to go. If you were a seller choosing between two similar offers, one with a pre-qual letter and one with a pre-approval letter, you'd pick the pre-approval every single time. It's a safer bet. Now let me break down the specific differences side by side so this is crystal clear. With pre-qualification, you provide estimated financial information. With pre-approval, you provide verified documents like W-2s, pay stubs, tax returns, and bank statements. With pre-qualification, the lender usually does a soft credit check, or sometimes no credit check at all. With pre-approval, the lender does a hard credit pull, which does show up on your credit report. With pre-qualification, you get a rough estimate of what you might qualify for. With pre-approval, you get a specific loan amount with an estimated interest rate. With pre-qualification, the process takes minutes. With pre-approval, the process takes a few days to about a week, sometimes up to 10 business days depending on how quickly you submit your documents. With pre-qualification, sellers see it as a starting point. With pre-approval, sellers see it as proof that you're a serious, qualified buyer. And here's one more important difference that most people don't talk about. Pre-qualification doesn't lock in anything. Pre-approval gives you an approval that's typically good for 60 to 90 days. After that, it expires, and you'd need to get it renewed because your financial situation could have changed. Now here's the part that trips a lot of people up. Some lenders use these terms interchangeably. Seriously. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, actually warns about this. They say some lenders call their process pre-qualification, and other lenders call the exact same process pre-approval. There's no universal legal definition that forces lenders to use one term over the other. So how do you know which one you're actually getting? Ask your lender 2 questions. First, are you verifying my income, assets, and employment with actual documents? And second, are you running a hard credit check? If the answer to both is yes, you're getting a real pre-approval regardless of what they call it. If the answer is no, you're getting a pre-qualification, even if they hand you a letter that says pre-approval on it. This is why it matters to work with a lender who is transparent about their process. Not all pre-approval letters are created equal. So now the big question. Which one do you actually need? Here's my honest advice after 25 years in the mortgage industry. If you're just curious about what you can afford and you're months away from actually buying, get pre-qualified. It's quick, it's free, it doesn't affect your credit, and it gives you a rough idea of your price range. Use that to start doing research, building your savings, and getting your finances in order. But the moment you are serious about buying, the moment you're ready to start going to open houses and making offers, you need a pre-approval, not a pre-qualification, a pre-approval. And I would actually recommend getting pre-approved before you even start looking at homes. Here's why. Number 1, it tells you exactly what you can afford. No guessing. Real numbers based on your real financial situation. That way, you're not falling in love with a house that's $50,000 over your budget. Number 2, it gives you negotiating power. When a seller sees a pre-approval letter attached to your offer, they know you can close. That's leverage, especially in competitive markets. Number 3, it surfaces problems early. What if your credit report has an error that's dragging down your score? What if there's a debt you forgot about that's messing up your DTI? What if your employment history has a gap that needs to be explained? You want to discover all of that now, before you find a house and are under pressure to close in 30 days. Pre-approval is the stress test that catches problems when you still have time to fix them. Number 4, it speeds up the actual mortgage process. When you do find a home and go under contract, a huge chunk of the paperwork is already done. Your lender already has your documents, your credit is already pulled, your income is already verified. That means you can close faster, which sellers love. Now let's talk about what happens after you get pre-approved, because a lot of buyers make mistakes here. Getting pre-approved does not mean you're guaranteed a mortgage. It means you're conditionally approved based on your current financial situation. If your financial picture changes between pre-approval and closing, your loan could be denied or your terms could change. So here are the things you should absolutely not do after getting pre-approved. Do not open new credit cards. Every time you apply for credit, it shows up on your report and it can change your debt-to-income ratio. Do not make large purchases on credit. Buying a car, furniture, appliances, anything that adds a monthly payment. Wait until after you close. Do not change jobs. Lenders verify your employment right before closing. If you switch jobs, especially to a different industry or from salaried to commission, it can delay or kill your loan. Do not move large amounts of money between accounts without a paper trail. Lenders need to trace where your down payment is coming from. Random large deposits with no explanation raise red flags. Do not co-sign on anyone else's loan. That becomes your debt in the eyes of the lender. I've seen buyers lose their approval over every single one of these things. 25 years, and I still see it happen. The pre-approval is not the finish line. It's the starting line. Protect it. One more thing I want to cover. How to actually get pre-approved the right way. Start by gathering your documents before you even contact a lender. You'll need your last 2 years of W-2s or 1099s if you're self-employed, your 2 most recent pay stubs, your last 2 months of bank statements for every account, your most recent tax returns, both federal and state, a valid government ID, and if you have other income sources like rental income, retirement, or alimony, bring documentation for those too. Once you have everything together, apply with at least 2 or 3 lenders. This is important. Different lenders have different rates, different fees, and different loan programs. Shopping around could save you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And here's a tip most people don't know. If you submit all your applications within a 45-day window, all of those credit inquiries get counted as one inquiry on your credit report. The credit bureaus know you're shopping for a mortgage, and they don't penalize you for comparing rates. After you submit your application and documents, the lender will process everything and issue your pre-approval letter. That letter will specify your approved loan amount, the loan type, and usually an estimated interest rate. Keep in mind, the rate isn't locked at this point. That happens later when you're under contract on a specific property. So let's recap everything. Pre-qualification is a quick estimate based on information you provide verbally or online. No document verification, usually no hard credit pull, and it gives you a rough idea of your price range. Use it early in the process when you're just exploring. Pre-approval is a thorough review of your verified financials. Document submission, hard credit pull, employment verification, the works. It gives you a specific loan amount and shows sellers you're a serious buyer. Use it when you're ready to make offers. Always ask your lender whether they're verifying your information or just taking your word for it. The name on the letter matters less than what actually went into producing it. Get pre-approved before you start house hunting, not after. It protects you from surprises, strengthens your offers, and speeds up your closing. And whatever you do, do not make big financial changes after you get pre-approved. Protect that letter like it's your ticket to homeownership, because it is. If this was helpful, hit subscribe. We break down everything first-time homebuyers need to know, every single week, in plain English. No jargon, no fluff, just the information that actually matters. I'll see you in the next one.